Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast on CNBC-TV18. Well, let's talk about the big tech earnings announced last evening. Infosys and HCLTech closed the second quarter with record high deal wins, while both companies lowered their revenue guidance for the current fiscal. Reema gets us a quick roundup of the highlights. Reema.
Thanks so much for that. As you can see on your screen, both the ADRs of Infosys and Wipro overnight in Wall Street trade were under pressure following the numbers. A quick recap, Infosys was a strong Q2. Beat on revenues, beat on margins, record high deal wins. For HCLTech, mixed Q2. Revenue was a miss, but very strong margin expansion and again, record high deal wins. The problem is their FY24 guidance has been lowered. Infosys is saying this year the company is going to grow at only 1 to 2.5%. And this is the second guidance cut by the company. Very unusual for a company like Infosys. For HCLTech, the company's earlier guidance was 6 to 8%. Now they're saying in organic terms, which means X of any acquisition, the growth will be 4 to 5%. If you add the ASAP acquisition that they did, growth will be 5 to 6%. But there is going to be a decline in their growth expectations for the full year. The reason HCLTech management said is because H1 growth has missed their own expectations. They're still expecting a very strong pickup in H2. In Q3 and Q4, if the company has to meet its full year revenue guidance, the lowered guidance, they still need to do about 3 to 4%. So the miss in guidance for HCLTech, very important to note, is not because the second half is going to be weaker. It's because the first half has missed their expectations. Both the companies have maintained their margin estimates for the full year. A quick recap then of how the three companies stack up in terms of the key metrics. On the top line, Infosys was a big beat on their revenues. The only company which reported a beat in terms of a top line, 2.3% revenue growth. In terms of margins, all three companies reported an expansion in margins and higher than consensus expectation. And the highlight for the quarter has been those solid deal wins. For Infosys, HCLTech, record high deal wins. For TCS, it's the second highest on record. And again, much higher than what we typically see.
Okay, all right. So that's all about the two IT majors that reported numbers last evening.